Ministry, we have come up with some initiatives in order to increase access. The ministry developed a foundational learning parenting manual. It was in 2024 when this manual was developed. It has not been signed, of course. We are assisted by Caritas Zimbabwe to produce this foundational learning manual. And in this manual, we wanted to tap on the first 1,000 days to try and train the caregivers and the parents on their role in as far as the School Readiness Initiative is concerned. Because currently we talk about School Readiness Initiative, we are actually referring to the ECD and ECDA learners who are already in the system. But what we want is how do caregivers, how do parents prepare these learners for school? Before they come to school, what is it that they must do? So we haven't rolled out this foundational learning parenting manual. Once it is signed, we are going to. So as ministry, we also produced electronic soft and hard copies of THRAS toolkits, and as well as national English schemes that speak to this methodology. We realized that we don't have a firm foundation in as far as teaching literacy and numeracy is concerned. With the UNESCO report, it shows that it's only 11% of the 10-year-olds who are able to read in sub-Saharan Africa. So that alone points out that our foundation is a little bit weak. So we need to strengthen it. And strengthening it, we have adopted a strategy that we are using. However, the challenge is that most parents think they are all teachers because they passed the O-level or they've got diplomas and degrees and they think they can teach. So the challenge in this area is that they are using what we call Olmozon. Olmozon is one letter makes one sound. And trying to teach that when they come to school, it becomes a challenge. So we need to engage the parents before children come to school. Right, in order to increase access, the ministry okayed the establishment of community-based ECD centers in rural areas. And these community ECD centers can be manned by a trained teacher. It also opened various community reading camps that are manned by community champions. And it is a way of trying to increase access. So allowing private players also to apply for authority to establish, construct, and register ECE centers through the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education. But then the challenge with this is that the teachers that are employed in these private so-called ECD centers is that they don't have qualifications. Most of them, is either they are O-level holders or A-level holders, and if you find one with the appropriate qualification, you will be the head of that institution. Some of them are just paraprofessionals. So we are worried about the quality of education in those centers. Instead of employing qualified teachers, they employ teachers without qualifications because probably they want to underpay them. So we also do the screening of learners as they get enrolled in the entry grade, as to make early referrals. So screening is done at ECDA or ECEA and ECEB before they proceed to grade 1. Then there's also the introduction of sustainable tracking of early learning assessment, this STELA. This one is a domain-based approach to assessing early learning milestones. STELA is an assessment tool designed to take stock of domain-based developmental progression of ECEA and ECEB pupils. So tracking the extent to which different developmental milestones have been achieved by the individual pupils, so as to come up with appropriate interventions. Then what we have also done is, as a ministry, we have developed a reading strategy. It has not been signed, but it has been developed. So literacy and numeracy boost at infant module through various strategies are in place. The use of indigenous language when teaching in the infant module, if we look at Circular 19 of 2024, it is very clear that these learners need to be taught using an indigenous language. The reason why we are emphasizing on the indigenous language is that we want learners to be comfortable when they bring out what is within them, to bring out the ideas using a language they are comfortable in, instead of telling a learner to use English when they want to, just to tell us the idea that they have. Currently, we are saying school-based projects should begin at ECEA. So for these ones to contribute meaningfully, they need to use their indigenous languages. We also have a mandatory feeding program in all primary schools. Then the deployment of qualified ECE teachers in all schools. There's also construction of ramps and paved pathways in all schools. Those that haven't done so, it is because maybe they don't have finances. There's provisions, furniture, classrooms, and play materials. Then we also have a policy that abolished corporal punishment, Circular P35. So I think on the challenges, I've highlighted some. Most private ECE centers, they employ unqualified teachers. And also the fact that the private players are opening schools and employing unqualified teachers. ECE learners walking alone to the school without being accompanied by parents or caregivers, especially in the rural areas. And then we also realize that parents, they just use any mode of transport to ferry their children from home to schools. I want one parent in Cowdrey Park, the vehicle, to me, it appeared like it was not fit to transport learners, but the driver wanted to beat me because I was telling parents never to use it. We have a scenario in Gweru where we lost learners. So, but Circular P54 is in place to ensure that every vehicle that is used to transport learners from home to school or back, it must be a vehicle which is fit to do that purpose. So some centers are not accessible by road, giving inspectors a tall order task to quality assure them through e-inspection. So those are some of the challenges. You may find we don't have the land cruisers to navigate some of the roads, whether we should call them roads or no roads. So as ministry, we have challenges to get to those centers to quality assure and advise or to check on the qualifications of some of the teachers.